Parents of Reddit, what did you swear you wouldn't do as a parent, that you've done at least once? Have another kid. Sit them down in front of the TV or a tablet just to get a few effing minutes where they're occupied and not asking for something. Yell, I'm human, and lose my temper too. Generally, my mom didn't use the "because I said so" excuse, but I remember one time she did and I was so annoyed and baffled by it, I promised I'd never use that excuse. Looking back at it, the reason she used it was because I was asking to go do something I'd done 1,000 times with a friend who had not. The friend would have definitely screwed it up and the friend's mom was sitting there while I was asking. Because I said so was a better than saying, because I think Mike will screw it up in front of Mike's mom. Using screen time because I needed a break. Allowing my kid to have a dinnerable lunchable served at dinner time because I was too tired to cook. Saying things like "we look with our eyes, not our hands," and "hi, hungry, I'm mommy." For a while, I also swore that I'd never be a mom, so I'm happy with all of it. I swore I would never lose my temper and yell at my kid. That didn't last. Drive a minivan, but damn are they smooth and convenient. Not worrying about kids flinging doors open into parked cars reduced my stress tenfold. Buying kids meals, nuggets and chips at a restaurant that sells legitimate food. Pre-dad me, I'm going to be the coolest dad ever. My kids can listen to gangster rap and watch Jerry Springer all they want. Post-dad me, my daughters created a TikTok account and tried to dance to Thotiana on camera. Burn it all down. Lie to my kids. You have to lie to irrational people. Everything. I used to be one of those people who judged parents and their kids in public. Old me was a jerk who had no idea. Let's go down the list. Taking my kid out in public because I have nothing else to do. This is the big one. I used to wonder why parents dragged all their kids on every little shopping trip. It's because they either don't have anyone to watch them or kids are easier to control when they're in public. Toddlers and babies can sit in a pram and other kids can play on play equipment. It beats following my toddler around the house while he tries to eat cat litter and pull all the books off the shelves. Allowing my kid too much screen time. We've been pretty good with phones. Mostly because he'll break them if he gets his hands on them. Plus he's not really interested in TV, but the 30 seconds that Big Block Sing Song is on TV is like an extended vacation to me. Not allowing my toddler any fast food until X age. We lasted a while he didn't eat fast food until he could walk, but when a toddler sees you eating something that they can't, they flip out. A toddler will flip out if you and him are eating the same thing, but you're taking it from a different plate. Not getting mad. I've had 2 hours sleep and you're standing up in your cot throwing whatever you can reach on the floor. Allow me to stare angrily at you for 30 seconds. Being a parent is hard. The worst case is that you prepare yourself for sun-dappled afternoons reading while your kid plays quietly on the floor at your feet. This is a laughable fantasy. Best case is that you prepare for the worst and it's actually worse. But even with all hard stuff, I love the little guy. There are times when just being near me makes him the happiest person in the world, and that makes it all worth it. Use food as a reward or incentive. Non-parents think children are logical beings who merely lack life experience. It's always "I'll just sit them down and explain to them," and "I'll never, always. And the kids will be happy 24/7. Yeah, nah. Children run off kid logic. No solutions work for all kids or even work on the same kid consistently. If you want to survive and raise the best kid you can, you will constantly evolve and adapt. McDonald's. I'm never going to feed my kid fast food. The indoor playground is a great place to kill time. Kids gotta eat. When I was a child, I absolutely hated being rushed to get ready and go someplace, and I swore I wouldn't be like that. Now as a mother of 4, I will literally firemen carry their asses out of the door to get to school on time. The 3-bite rule. I swore I'd only make one meal, and my kids were going to at least eat 3 bites of everything, and that's that. Fast forward to a sweet boy with legitimate texture issues. He will actually gag and vomit. And I have become an expert at deconstructing dinners so he doesn't have to deal with anything mushy while the rest of us eat. Because I said so. Let my kids listen to Kids Bop. It's the worst garbage music, but back when I had satellite radio, more often than not when they were in the car with me, that god-awful music was playing. Okay kids, help yourselves to dinner tonight. I'm way too tired. The thing is, my 10-year-old can now make an excellent egg and bacon sandwich now, so that worked out. Resort to bribery. Lol, I was completely ignorant. Just give up for a bit. Just had an oh shit I'm a parent moment yesterday. We were picking up food and they asked if we were getting drinks. I said we have drinks at home and immediately facepalmed myself. I hated being a teenager, so I promised that when I had a teen of my own that I'd be the chillest parent ever and always understand. But goddamn, I get frustrated sometimes, and despite my best efforts, sometimes I just can't understand where they're coming from. Housing a teen is like housing a werewolf. They can be so calm and rational until suddenly they're not. They're voraciously hungry but don't want dinner. They sleep through daylight and you find them up at 3 a.m. thinking as loud as I can, please go away for 1 minute when I say, dude I'm changing, eating, DESTRESSING, stop opening my door, or we're not going outside. He is the worst about waiting, as in if you're in the bathroom and he sees you go in, he'll try to open the door immediately. He doesn't have to go and he doesn't need anything, he just wants to show you how fast he can run and spin while you're pushing on the toilet. Put my child down for a nap because I myself was tired. Cry when my kids say something mean. I'm usually pretty good, but after a long day with a 4-year-old who just didn't want to listen and is having a bad day himself, hearing I don't love you can destroy you, even though you logically know they have no clue what they're saying. Oh boy, you think they can make you cry now? Wait until they're teenagers. Put my kids to bed when it's still light outside. I remember being put to bed during the summer and still being able to hear kids playing outside and just being so mad about that. Now 8 o'clock rolls around and my kids are mad that they're being put to bed when the sun is still up because they've been going full force since 6 a.m. And I haven't had a break all day from small humans asking me for things. Ask your mother. Putting on a terrified look and screaming wasp. To get the kids to come back in from the backyard. Shit works every time. Wow, that was a close one. Let's stay inside because it is the wasp's hour. Calling my kids each other's names. Eventually I just go with you know who you are. Always wondered why my parents did that. Now as a parent, with life so stressful and fast, I fully see why. I said I'd never scream at my kids, but I let one rip at my son because he was screaming at his mother, and I just lost my cool as he is given everything he needs and still went full disrespect on her. Yell at my kid. I went to a parenting class. Love and logic. Read countless books. Watched cringy YouTube because I was determined to not be like my mom. But when your 6-year-old decides to wake up at 0400, sneak downstairs and mix everything from the storage cabinet into a 3/4 mixing bowl, no, it didn't hold all the contents. But that didn't stop her from adding more on the light tan carpet of your rental, destroying any hope of getting your security deposit back. And you wake up to the overwhelming smell of baking chocolate, pepper, and garlic. You tend to lose your cool. It was god-awful. Rice, flour, chocolate powder, all my spices and herbs, pancake mix, mixed with who knows how many cups of water, and stirred. Send the kids to my mother's every weekend. I absolutely swore blind that I wouldn't do it to my kids, but man, when the weekend comes I just need a couple hours to sort shit out before the madness starts again. Zone out when my kids talk to me. And then I went to the bathroom. I pooped. Oh yeah, I pooped, daddy, I pooped, daddy, yeah, I pooped. Give in to what they want for an hour's peace. Tell them we are going to clean the house when I'm done taking my nap. Have a messy house. My house was always messy as a kid, so I always swore that I would be the perfect homemaker with a pristine house. A combination of trying to do too much at once, being lazy and mental health issues has meant that my house ranges from messy to disgusting way too often. Count to get my toddler to do something. Yesterday I told him it would only take him 10 seconds to pick up his toys. Then I said watch. 1, 2, 3, etc. He hurriedly put them away. Then I realized I was a grown-ass man counting to 10 out loud like an idiot, which I swore to never do. It wasn't quite the same as the if you don't do it by the time I count to 3 thing because I was doing it encouragingly, but I still felt asinine. My parents had me later in life. My mom was 40. Dad was 34. I swore I would never be an older parent. I had all sorts of reasons why, which I've ultimately realized were nonsense. Anyway, my wife and I are expecting our second child later this year. Our first will be 10 when the second is born and I'll be 38 and I couldn't be more excited. I didn't think I would be so deceptive, but sometimes it's like negotiating with a terrorist. Here ya go mamas. I had a long road trip to go on. 13 hours to their cousin's house in Oregon. I told them there would be no fighting or we weren't going. Kids know that's an idle threat. I knew they were going to squabble and act up and I was flying solo. So I got them packed up and we started out. Not 5 minutes down the road and it started. He's not sharing. That's it, I told you not to fight. Got home, marched them to their rooms. A week later we left and wow, not a peep. We weren't going that week anyway. My evil plan worked. You're welcome. Focus on using a device, phone, etc. instead of spending time with my children. Everybody is throwing out the negative stuff. My daughters paint my nails regularly. If you'd have asked me when I was like mid-20s, I was never gonna let that happen. First time my oldest asked, I was mush, okay, go ahead. They do it all the time now. No makeup though. That shit is definitely not happening. Narrator. It definitely did. I promised myself that I would always answer every question that my kids ask and that I would never lose my cool after the 10,000th question. I've lost my cool once and never will again. Mostly now if I get overwhelmed I'll just say, you sure do ask a lot of questions, buddy, and that usually shuts them up for a minute so I can take a deep breath. Why do you think? Is also a lifesaver at times. Let my kid have a phone before the age of 16. Broke down and did it at age 12 once she started doing things after school and going to sleepovers. Had to make some adjustments along the way, but it hasn't been a bad thing. Gave in to the demands of a terrorist. I gave chocolate to my 2-year-old to stop a meltdown. When leaving and trying to get my son to come with me. Bye. Bought a minivan. In fact, I've owned a string of them over the years. My dad had a Corvette when I was little. When my brother was born, he traded it in for a minivan. That had to hurt. Saying I'm disappointed in you. The one time my mom said it to me I literally grounded myself. Don't have kids yet, but my 18-year-old niece did some seriously dangerously stupid shit last night, and when she got back to the house I laid into her with the force of 15 angry moms and ended it with I'm so hurt and disappointed in you right now. You're so much smarter than this. She walked away crying and I felt like I was going to vomit for saying that. But you know what? She got the message loud and clear. Sometimes you have to pull that out. Kids are used to being told off, so it's easy for them to roll their eyes, chew on their tongue and pretend they are sorry. I'm nearly 32 and I still think I would fill up with tears if my mum said she was disappointed in me. However, as long as you also tell them when you are proud, it makes all the difference. And just a tidbit for any future parents, make sure it's always I'm disappointed in you and not you are a disappointment. Those are two very different things. Give my kids crap oven food. She was going to eat exactly what I ate. I wasn't going to have a fussy kid that only ate chicken nuggets and chips. Then she turned 2 and I realized what a complete idiot I had been. Convince her everything you serve is chicken nuggets and chips. My parents told my sister everything was chicken even if it was mashed potatoes. I swore I would not be as vulgar and crass as I was before she was born, but she's only 6 hours old as of this comment and I already called her a titty sucker. If you don't stop that now, we're going home, which is often as much a punishment to myself as it is to my son. But I don't make threats I can't act on. I don't care if you haven't saved. It's time to turn off the game. I get how much it sucks when you can't save. but I always give him plenty of warning before it's time to come off whatever video game he's playing, so he should have more than enough time to save the game. There are very few games these days with limited save points. More seriously, I always imagined I'd be a really attentive parent who enjoyed playing a lot with my son, but unfortunately I struggle with the day-to-day necessities of maintaining a household and am often way too tired to spend as much time with him as I would like. I watch some shows with him and we play Yu-Gi-Oh! And tabletop RPGs together now that he's older, but I worry he won't have enough memories of quality time spent together when he's grown up. The best thing my mom did was actually put an exact time on when I needed to get to a save point. If I passed that time, it was on me for not getting to the save point, almost like a minigame.